What if the loneliness you feel isn't a sign that you're lost, but the compass pointing you home? What if I told you that the path to true connection, the kind that nourishes your soul, often requires a period of profound, intentional solitude? This isn't about wallowing in despair. It's about understanding a hidden truth about spiritual evolution. This isn't your average discussion about feeling lonely on a Friday night. We're diving deep into the realm of spiritual isolation, a very different beast from mere social detachment. Social isolation is simply the absence of contact. Spiritual isolation is the aching sense of being fundamentally different, of holding values and beliefs that clash with the mainstream. It's the feeling that you're walking a path that few others even see, let alone understand. And often, it's tied to the seductive, yet treacherous, chosen one narrative. The chosen one narrative whispers that you're special, destined for greatness, set apart from the mundane masses. While it can be initially empowering, this belief can quickly inflate the ego, creating a sense of superiority that ironically isolates you even further. You might start seeing others as less evolved or unawakened, hindering your ability to connect with them on a genuine, human level. Moreover, modern society often discourages individuality and spiritual exploration. The pressure to conform, to fit neatly into predefined boxes, can leave those who resonate with unconventional ideas feeling alienated and alone. From the carefully curated images in media to the standardized lessons in schools, there are forces at play that subtly steer us away from our unique paths. But what if this feeling of being an outsider is not a cosmic error, but a divinely orchestrated opportunity? Think of spiritual isolation as a crucible, a transformative space where the heat of solitude forges strength, clarity, and unwavering self-belief. Just as a caterpillar retreats into its chrysalis, dissolving its former self to emerge as a butterfly, so too can periods of solitude provide the necessary space for deep self-reflection, emotional healing, and profound spiritual awakening. It's during these times that we shed old skins, confront our deepest fears, and discover the authentic self that lies beneath the layers of societal conditioning. Let's deconstruct this chosen one narrative for a moment. Ask yourself, honestly, what motivates you to identify with this label? Are you truly chosen, imbued with some inherent superiority? Or have you simply chosen a path that demands courage, a path that few are willing to tread, because it requires confronting uncomfortable truths and challenging the status quo? Remember, even those with extraordinary gifts or abilities have a responsibility to use them with humility, compassion, and service. The chosen one is not elevated by inherent superiority, but by the depth of their service to others. Ultimately, we must consider the radical possibility that isolation itself is an illusion. Metaphysically speaking, all beings are interconnected, part of a single, unified field of consciousness. We are like individual waves, appearing separate on the surface of the ocean, yet intrinsically connected to the vast, boundless depths below. Quantum entanglement, where particles remain linked regardless of distance, offers a tantalizing scientific analogy for this interconnectedness. Recognizing our fundamental unity can dissolve the illusion of separation, fostering empathy, compassion, and a profound sense of belonging, even when physically alone. Understanding these concepts allows us to reframe our experience of isolation. Instead of viewing it as a punishment, a cosmic oversight, or evidence of our inadequacy, we can begin to see it as a necessary period of gestation, a time for inner work, and a catalyst for spiritual growth. When you feel the pangs of loneliness, ask yourself, what is this isolation teaching me? What aspects of myself am I being called to confront and heal? Remember, spiritual isolation is not a permanent sentence. It is a temporary state, a chrysalis from which you will eventually emerge transformed. The truth is, the pursuit of authentic connection requires profound self-awareness and careful discernment. Seeking validation from external sources, chasing fleeting approval from others, only perpetuates the feeling of emptiness and disconnection. Instead, focus on cultivating healthy boundaries, protecting your energy from toxic influences, and seeking out genuine connections with those who resonate with your values and support your journey. Look for your tribe in online communities, workshops, or spiritual gatherings, places where you can share your truth without fear of judgment. Be warned, though, not all connections are created equal. So let's shift our perspective. Let's stop seeing isolation as a problem to be solved and start recognizing it as a potent opportunity for self-discovery and profound transformation. True connection, the kind that truly matters, begins with connecting to yourself. Use this time to explore your passions, cultivate your talents, nurture your inner world, and shower yourself with unwavering self-love. Self-acceptance is the bedrock upon which authentic relationships are built. In essence, spiritual isolation is a multifaceted experience, a blend of challenge and opportunity, of loneliness and profound self-discovery. We've touched on the distinction between spiritual and social isolation, the seductive trap of the chosen one narrative, the illusion of separation in a unified reality, and the potential for deep growth and authentic connection. Remember this: you possess the power to choose how you respond to periods of isolation. Embrace your individuality, trust your intuition, and follow the unique path that is calling you forward. And know, deep in your heart, that you are not alone in this journey. Continue watching to discover how to navigate your spiritual path with grace, authenticity, and unwavering self-belief. The quest for genuine spiritual connection is often hampered by a world built on conformity. Consider how societal structures, such as the education system, often prioritize standardized testing and rote memorization over critical thinking and creative expression. This system subtly trains individuals to become compliant members of society, discouraging them from questioning authority or exploring alternative perspectives. Media, too, plays a significant role, often reinforcing materialistic values and portraying unconventional beliefs as fringe or even dangerous. Think about a popular show that glorifies wealth, status, and physical appearance, subtly implying that these are the keys to happiness and fulfillment. How does that make someone feel who is on a path of inner exploration and values simplicity, authenticity, and connection? The societal pressure to conform can create deep feelings of alienation for those who resonate with more spiritually aligned values, leading them to feel like outsiders in their own communities. The consequence is a suppression of intuition and inner guidance, as individuals begin to doubt their own experiences and perceptions in the face of societal norms. This pressure to fit in often manifests as groupthink, a psychological phenomenon where the desire for harmony within a group overrides any realistic appraisal of alternative viewpoints. Groupthink can stifle critical thinking and independent thought, as individuals are afraid to voice dissenting opinions for fear of rejection or ridicule. Imagine a company where everyone agrees with the CEO's decisions, even when those decisions are clearly flawed. No one wants to be the whistleblower, the one who rocks the boat. To resist groupthink, cultivate a habit of questioning assumptions, seeking out diverse perspectives, and valuing intellectual honesty above social acceptance. Develop the courage to stand alone in your convictions, even when your views are unpopular. As an example, consider the historical event of the Bay of Pigs invasion, where a flawed plan was executed despite internal doubts due to a strong desire for unity and approval within the group. The ego, that part of our mind that identifies with thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations, further complicates our journey. It creates a story about ourselves based on limiting beliefs and past experiences, constructing a false sense of self that is separate from others. The ego constantly compares us to those around us, judging our worth based on external achievements and material possessions. Picture yourself scrolling through social media, constantly bombarded with images of seemingly perfect lives. The ego whispers doubts and insecurities, reinforcing the feeling that you are not good enough, that you are somehow lacking compared to others. This constant comparison fuels feelings of isolation and disconnection, trapping us in a cycle of self-criticism and self-doubt. For instance, recall a time when your ego created a conflict in a relationship by clinging to a particular viewpoint or refusing to apologize. Did that insistence on being right ultimately bring you closer to the other person or drive you further apart? Yet, there exists the potential for ego death as a powerful catalyst for spiritual awakening. Ego death signifies the temporary or permanent transcendence of the egoic sense of self, leading to a profound sense of interconnectedness and unity with all beings. Consider the accounts of spiritual teachers and mystics who have described experiencing a complete dissolution of their individual identity, merging into the boundless expanse of cosmic consciousness. This can be achieved through various methods, including deep meditation, the careful and intentional use of psychedelics, always with appropriate caution and guidance, and extreme experiences that shatter our normal sense of reality. The result is a direct knowing of our true nature, a realization that we are not separate individuals, but rather expressions of a single, unified field of consciousness. To truly reclaim, your inner compass requires consistent and dedicated effort. Start with journaling as a tool for exploring your thoughts, emotions, and behavioral patterns. Try these journaling prompts. What are the stories I tell myself about why I am alone? Or what fears prevent me from connecting with others? Question your assumptions and explore alternative perspectives. Instead of automatically believing the negative thoughts that arise in your mind, challenge their validity. For example, if you find yourself thinking, "No one understands me," ask yourself, is that absolutely true? Are there people in my life who have shown me empathy and support? To help you connect with your inner wisdom, try a short visualization exercise. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and imagine yourself in a peaceful and supportive environment. Ask your inner wisdom for guidance on how to navigate your feelings of isolation and trust the answers that arise. Mindfulness meditation provides another technique for cultivating presence and observing thoughts without judgment. Through regular practice, you can learn to detach from the constant chatter of your mind and connect with a deeper sense of peace and stillness. Mindfulness reduces stress, increases self-awareness, and enhances emotional regulation. Start with a brief guided meditation, focusing on your breath. Simply notice the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body without trying to change or control it. When your mind wanders, gently redirect your attention back to your breath. Over time, try incorporating mindfulness into your daily routines. For instance, when you feel anxious about an upcoming social event, pause, take a few deep breaths, and observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. This allows you to respond to the situation with greater clarity and compassion, rather than being swept away by fear and anxiety. Perhaps spiritual isolation is part of a pre-Jupon soul contract for growth and learning. This concept suggests that before birth, we enter into spiritual agreements to experience certain challenges and opportunities in this life. Spiritual isolation, in this context, can provide unique opportunities for fulfilling our soul's purpose. Is it possible that your current isolation is serving a higher purpose, allowing you to develop qualities such as self-reliance, inner strength, and compassion? Imagine someone whose soul contract involves overcoming feelings of abandonment. Through this experience, they might develop a deep sense of self-worth and learn to offer unconditional love and support to others. Consider how this struggle, while painful, ultimately allows them to embody their true potential and make a positive impact on the world. Feelings of isolation can also arise from karmic relationships, which are often intense and challenging connections designed to help us learn important life lessons. These relationships often involve unresolved issues and repeating patterns of behavior. Examine your own relationships for any recurring themes or unresolved conflicts. Are you constantly attracting the same type of person into your life? Do you find yourself repeating the same mistakes in your relationships? Common karmic relationship patterns, like the rescue-victim dynamic, leave both parties feeling unfulfilled and isolated. Learning to break free from these cycles often requires courage, self-awareness, and a willingness to let go of unhealthy attachments. The path forward involves building bridges, finding authentic connections with like-minded individuals while maintaining healthy boundaries. Seek out communities and groups that resonate with your spiritual values, whether online or in person. Be mindful of identifying and avoiding toxic relationships that drain your energy and undermine your self-esteem. In all your relationships, remember the importance of self-respect and assertiveness. Prioritize your well-being, communicate your needs clearly, and don't be afraid to walk away from situations that are not serving your highest good. While online communities offer a convenient way to connect with others, be wary of the potential for superficiality and comparison. Aim for genuine connections based on shared values and mutual support. Ultimately, authentic connection stems from self-love and self-acceptance. We cannot truly love others until we learn to love ourselves, flaws and all. Practice self-compassion and forgive yourself for your mistakes. It is okay to be imperfect, to struggle, and to make mistakes. What truly matters is that you are committed to learning, growing, and becoming the best version of yourself. Write a love letter to yourself, expressing gratitude for all that you are and all that you have overcome. Create a self-care routine that nourishes your mind, body, and spirit. If self-love still feels unattainable, consider a personal story of transformation. Someone who learned to embrace their own worthiness, ultimately creating more meaningful relationships in their lives. However, it's also essential to acknowledge that sometimes isolation can signal mental or emotional distress. It's crucial to distinguish between healthy solitude and debilitating loneliness. Prolonged isolation carries risks, such as depression, anxiety, and substance abuse. Don't hesitate to seek professional help if you find yourself struggling with mental health issues. Mental health resources and support groups are invaluable tools for navigating these challenges. If healthy self-care strategies aren't enough, that is okay. Remember to prioritize self-care and maintain a healthy lifestyle during periods of isolation. Prioritize sleep, nutrition, exercise, and stress management. Craft a nurturing and supportive environment. It's okay to ask for help, and remember, you are not alone. If creating a new self-care routine feels daunting, start with 1 or 2 small changes, such as going for a walk in nature or practicing a few minutes of deep breathing each day. As you nurture yourself, you'll find the strength and resilience to navigate the challenges of spiritual isolation and emerge stronger, wiser, and more connected to your true self. What awaits beyond this period of isolation? In the next section, we'll explore how spiritual gifts emerge from the darkness and how to use your unique abilities to serve the world. Remember that initial feeling of loneliness, the one we framed not as a curse, but as a call. Consider how your understanding of that feeling has evolved throughout this video. Initially, you might have perceived spiritual isolation as a sign of failure, a personal inadequacy. Now, perhaps you recognize it as a crucible, a period of intense pressure that can forge inner strength and resilience. Spiritual isolation is complex and requires a reframing with self-compassion. The caterpillar retreats into its chrysalis, a seemingly lonely and isolated space, but within that solitude, a miraculous transformation occurs. It's a powerful reminder that growth often requires periods of withdrawal and introspection. Throughout this journey together, we've challenged the notion of the chosen one, deconstructing the ego's tendency to create a sense of specialness that can lead to separation. It's not about inherent superiority, but rather about the unique path you've chosen, a path perhaps less traveled, one demanding solitude for mastery, much like a dedicated craftsman honing their skill in isolation. We've emphasized the importance of challenging societal conditioning, that relentless pressure to conform, and embracing your individuality as a source of strength. Now comes the empowering realization. You have agency. You choose how you respond to isolation, whether you succumb to its potential pitfalls or harness its transformative power. As you continue to practice journaling to unpack the stories you tell yourself, meditating to reduce the noise of the outside world, and offering yourself self-compassion, you're using the tools for self-discovery that we've previously discussed to create lasting change. But what does this all mean in the grand scheme of things? This experience of spiritual isolation often stems from the broader human search for meaning and purpose. In a world that often prioritizes materialism and conformity over spirituality, it's natural to feel like an outsider. Recognize that your feelings of alienation are not unique. Many before you have felt this. View this journey as a modern retelling of the hero's journey, a necessary rite of passage for those on the path to self-discovery. Just as shamans, prophets, and visionaries of the past retreated into solitude to receive their revelations, so too can you embrace your periods of isolation as opportunities for profound insight and guidance. Moreover, understanding your own pain and struggles cultivates a profound empathy and compassion for others. Consider how overcoming your own challenges has transformed you, enabling you to offer support and understanding to those who are also struggling. Perhaps the deepest significance of your journey lies not in personal enlightenment, but in its ripple effect, inspiring and empowering others to embrace their own unique paths. Overcoming spiritual isolation cultivates a greater sense of social responsibility and a desire to create a more compassionate world. Let your journey inspire others, demonstrating that authenticity and self-acceptance are not only possible but essential for creating a life of meaning and purpose. Embrace your individuality. Your spiritual isolation is not a sign of failure, but a testament to your courage and authenticity. Resist the pressure to conform to societal expectations and continue to embrace your unique path, even when it feels lonely or challenging. Reframe chosenness not as a claim of superiority, but as a call to service, a responsibility to share your gifts and insights with the world. Your unique path, the one that has led you through periods of isolation and self-discovery, is not a source of separation, but a valuable contribution to the collective consciousness. It's a thread in the tapestry of human experience, enriching the whole with its unique color and texture. If doubts or questions linger, acknowledge that the path to self-discovery is not always linear. Setbacks are inevitable, and it is okay to feel lost or confused at times. Trust your intuition. When faced with uncertainty, turn inward and ask yourself, what feels most aligned with my values and my truth? Remember, the answers you seek are already within you. What matters most is that you trust yourself and keep moving forward, one step at a time. Be kind and forgiving to yourself. Self-compassion is vital to help you remember that you are worthy of love and acceptance, regardless of your past experiences or current circumstances. Write a letter of compassion to yourself, acknowledging your struggles, celebrating your strengths, and offering yourself the same kindness and understanding you would offer a dear friend. Remember, self-love is the foundation for authentic connection and fulfilling relationships. As we practice self-compassion, we create space for deeper connections with others, fostering relationships that are based on mutual respect, understanding, and genuine affection. Continue your spiritual growth and build meaningful connections. Seek out communities and groups that resonate with your values. Engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Consider joining a meditation group, volunteering for a cause you care about, or taking a class that sparks your curiosity. Prioritize self-care and maintain a healthy lifestyle. Remember, you are not alone. Engage in this guided meditation. Breathe in peace. Breathe out all tension. Feel yourself connecting to that limitless part of yourself that is always at peace, that is whole, and that is always connected to Source. Spiritual growth is an ongoing journey, and there is always more to learn. Remain curious, open-minded, and willing to challenge your beliefs as you travel down the road. Cultivate a lifelong love of learning and exploration. Now that you understand the potential of spiritual isolation, how will you use it to create a more meaningful and fulfilling life? How will you channel your unique gifts and insights to make a positive impact on the world? Share your experiences and insights in the comments below, create a community, and support one another. And stay tuned for upcoming videos on shadow work, manifestation, and spiritual activism.